Welcome back to the Untold with a brand new episode where we get amazing guests and we have amazing stories. Ahmed,
Yes.
who's our guest for today?
Today we have an EMT, first responder, and another guest who's not a stranger on KTV. He's been on other shows promoting and giving awareness about first responders and what they need to do and how to educate people on how to save lives, basically,
And
basic procedures.
We have a lot of questions for him today. He's friendly.
Very
He's
friendly.
nice.
He's nice.
And let's, without further ado,
Yes.
Osama Almethen, everyone, right after the break.
We're back on the Untold, being joined by our very special guest, Osama ALMazeedi. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Welcome to the show. First, let's start with an introduction about yourself.
From what we can see, we can tell.
We can tell
can
what you
tell.
do for a living.
My appearance tells more about me. My name is Osama ALMazeedi. I am in the health sector, of course, emergency medical services, chief of emergency medical technicians. I got a bachelor degree in paramedics from Australia. I've been working for about...
You're an Aussie.
An Aussie, yes. Not a Kiwi.
Not a Kiwi, no.
I've been working for this sector, which is emergency medical services, for about 30 years now.
Oh, wow.
And I worked so many places, ambulance centers.
Gotta say, you look young for 30 years of experience.
Thank you so
You
much.
look, yeah,
Gotta
you
say,
look
yeah,
incredibly.
God bless
Maybe
your
you
heart.
started too early. We don't know.
No, not really.
He's turned 15.
So
Okay.
as I said, I worked in this sector for so long, and I've held so many positions. I worked as an EMT, a paramedics, of course, guidance awareness manager, and supervising over trainings at the Department of Emergency Medical Service Training Center. I worked in different sectors in the center, so I've had so many experience in the EMS department.
Well, I want to start from the beginning. What made you even want to go on this path?
What inspired
Right.
you?
From high school, how did you think about this?
Well, it wasn't my aim or my goal to be an EMT or paramedics.
What was the goal at the time?
Mathematics.
Mathematics.
Like
yeah.
mathematics
You wanna be a
teacher?
mathematician?
Teacher.
A teacher,
A
okay.
teacher, okay.
So,
But mathematics though?
Yeah, actually, it started business marketing,
Okay.
and then
Okay.
I went up to math teacher, mathematics, and then I stopped, and then I thought I want to do something better, and that's what, that will answer your question. What makes me become an EMT or
Yes.
paramedic? We have something inside us. It's the seek of want to help people and save lives. And being abroad for so long, I studied in the States and I studied in different countries, and I've watched how the fire brigades and the healthcare rescuers.
well, after high school, did you immediately major in the major that you majored in, or did you have a
No.
different
I
major?
love how you said it, major in the major that you majored in. I dare you guys to say it 10 times. Anyway, so the question is,
I
Did
didn't
you
major
choose
in
that
the major
major?
I majored in.
that was incredible, Ahmed. But did you choose that major? Let's talk about the first step. You graduated high school.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Went to the state, studied marketing, and I changed my mind and I switched to mathematics. I finished my degree in mathematics. I became a math teacher.
You
So you
are a
actually-
math
Yes.
teacher.
You are a math teacher.
But why
you
math,
got the degree.
though?
I taught on college level.
But
in-
why
in
math
mathematics.
and college levels? I mean, I
Wow.
understand kids,
I
but
loved it.
college
I mean, I
levels?
don't have hate for math. It was the only scientific subject I was good at.
Am I
don't
the
know.
understood
only
numbers. I
stupid
understood
one on the
numbers.
I
table
like
with
numbers.
math?
You-
with math.
We didn't say it. You did.
I am a realistic person, so I like numbers, and I like
Okay.
things in orders and everything. So I think that, and of course, when you study business, especially marketing, you take so many math classes.
Right.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, so I thought, well, since I'm in love with math, so let's switch my major for. Actually, I kept my major in business marketing as a minor,
Okay.
and I
Majored
made
in
my
math.
yes, I majored in math
In the States.
in the state.
Got your bachelor's. You're done.
Yep.
What happened then?
I worked for about 2 years,
Okay,
and
as a
then
teacher?
Teaching.
as a teacher.
Teaching
Professor.
college level
college,
or
College
level.
professor.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then what happened?
And then I.
What was the switch?
Okay,
Ahmed, that's your
that's
question.
actually that's a
What was
secret.
that?
That's
What
a-
was that switch?
That's a
that,
secret. I don't know.
Oh, it's a
Um,
secret.
Yeah, not everybody knows about that. But I used to live in the state, so
Okay.
I was working in the state. I was living in the state. But then I
Was that
decided,
after high school?
yes,
As a
You
math
studied
teacher?
there,
Yes.
and then you did the 2 years of
Yes.
teaching in the States.
yes. I finished
a
high
secret.
school and I studied at college and then university, and then I started
Not
teaching
much
the
of a
same
secret
college
anymore.
Same
I
college
was.
you got your degree from.
Yes,
Wow.
I worked
mean-
about 2 years,
And
and then
then-
and then I decided that's it.
It's not
I'm
for
done
you.
with the state.
You're done with the States. Okay.
Homesick.
Not really,
No, he
no,
wants
no.
to do-
I just want to come back to Kuwait and start a new life in Kuwait. So.
Okay. Because I'm waiting to get to Australia.
In Australia, no,
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
there's more time to that. I
More
came back to Kuwait and I thought I don't want to work as a math teacher,
Mm.
so I want to do something different and better. And what triggers me that I want to help, and especially here in Kuwait. You know how when you see an accident or you see somebody who's
Yes.
in need, you're trying to go and help them, trying to provide, whatever you can to save their lives. So I thought instead of just rushing to rescue somebody without any knowledge and without any skills, let me learn it. So I went and I got my diploma, 2 years and a half diploma of EMT, Emergency
So
Medical
let me
Technician.
get this straight. Instead of taking a class or two on how to save people and getting
No, I went back to
101
college.
You went
CPR,
back to college.
I went back to college
For a
and
different
got.
you
bachelor's
decided to
degree.
go for diploma. Like, why
Diploma.
would I take 101? I want to learn the whole thing.
I want to be in the service. Yes,
Yeah, you wanna
I start
Okay.
watching all the people who works in the emergency medical services, and I have so much respect for them because they do a really hard job. And back in the days, I was so active. I was hyper actually, so I thought I want to put all this activity into something good. So I went to college here, and I got my degree in diploma of emergency medical technician. I worked a few years. Then they offered me to be a teacher. So I took a course. It's actually another diploma, 9 months diploma from not New South Wales. I can't remember the name of the area itself in Great Britain. We got our diploma in training and instruction, how to be instructor. So finished the 9 months, I became an instructor, and then I started teaching here in Kuwait how to become an EMT and paramedic. And of course, before that, I got my degree in paramedic as well. That was a small course, about 4 or 5 months course. And right now, paramedic course is about 9 months, which is diploma. And also, I worked on the road, with my colleagues in the ambulance centers for so long. And then I've got an offer to go and get my bachelor degree in paramedics in Australia. That's where Australia comes.
I mean, it's
Why
German.
Australia?
That's the only offer I got.
Oh, okay. Fair. fair.
I wasn't
fair,
picky,
fair. Where in Australia did you
New
study?
South Wales, Sydney area, New South
Sydney,
Wales.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how was the experience?
I loved it. I lived in the States for so long, but
How many
the 2
years did
years,
you do in the States? How many years did you do in Australia? Just real quick.
the state, most of my life actually. Let's say nine years.
9
About 7
years.
to 9 years in the state.
Okay. And then,
Australia 2 years.
And how did they compare to you? Which
I think I
The
love
pros and
Australia
cons.
much more than the state.
because
They're more friendly. They're down to earth. And
Friendlier. Yeah, Australian people are
there are so many
fun.
proper.
Okay,
And the
one-
accent, though.
one question.
Leave the accent
What
out-
state
aside.
in the U.S. did you go to?
I lived most of my life up north in Michigan.
Okay, different experience.
I lived
Okay.
2 years in California, Cali.
Didn't you like California more?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
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 But still, Australia, they're down to earth. There's so opportunities in Australia.
Right.
When I first went to Australia, I pictured it. Oh, I imagined it just like the States back in the 50s. There's so many, you know how they called it land of opportunity?
Yes, now it's Australia.
No, back then, still not now.
Ah, okay, okay.
I'm a lot older than how I look. That was back in 2002.
Where do you think is the new land of opportunity now is?
Not a new land of opportunity, the new land of retirement. I
He's
am.
Is it
planning his
Kuwait?
retirement
I have
right
two
now.
two more years, then I will retire.
And where is the
So
retirement?
looks like
Flag?
either Glasgow, Scotland,
Oh,
yeah, or Lake District, England, somewhere there.
Interesting
interesting
plan.
picks.
Where are you
Interesting
planning to retire, Ahmed?
Oh, oh.
That's a long way to go. Anyway,
Ah.
so interesting, story. I love what you've gone through. But what did you learn from this? Traveling abroad, living abroad.
Yeah.
What was the thing that you most learned about yourself?
Never give up.
Okay,
I never give up. There's always hope.
like how? How
It
to
doesn't
not
matter
give
how
up?
much you get beaten, how much you get put down, how much you get turned down. There's always an opportunity. There's always a door's gonna open. So, all over these years, I've been through so many um, really bad scenarios, and I thought I'm not gonna make it, and somehow a door opens, and I'll have a better chance.
Okay, I want to go back to you being an EMT.
Okay.
What is the most rewarding, satisfying thing about being an EMT? And you're leading, a team of EMTs.
Mhm.
So you're putting your experience in a new generation.
Yes. The first part of your question would be thank you. That's the best part. When you get a thankful look,
Appreciation.
appreciation from people that you're helping, a small prayer from an elderly person. This is a big gain for us. We're not asking for anything, especially when you are in a young age. You're not really asking anything from anybody except for somebody to give you appreciation and pray for you to become a better person. And the second part of your question, I'm trying to make a difference in our new generation, especially the new EMTs personnel, male and females. Now we have as an EMTs and
Sure.
paramedics, and they are really good people. I've known so many of them. They're hard workers. They put in their hearts into their job. They know their skills. So I'm trying to leave the sector before I retired with giving them everything I have and making them feel that yes, they can do that and they can do better than me.
So the
As we're
challenges.
discussing, yeah, there's a lot of challenges, but before we get into that, I think you are the first responders, but what are the responsibilities of an EMT, if we can break that down
Yeah.
for our viewers and get into the challenges?
AMT's responsibilities is first of all to save lives, and of course to minimize any complications, and of course to promote recovery and make sure that this ill or injured person make it to the hospital
On time.
in time
yeah,
and
make
stable.
sure they get to the hospital alive.
Exactly.
Stable, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, getting their life, that's
Life is not in
the
our
phrase
hands.
that you
I
use
know,
right
but
now.
Yeah, but we try our best.
You know what I mean.
So, how about we take a quick break and then
Yeah,
we'll come
sure.
back to
Yeah.
the challenges because I would like to hear more about that. So, quick break and we'll be right back with our guest. So we're back again with our guest, and before we're gonna break, I was asking you about the challenges that you face as an EMT, and how do you overcome these challenges,
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally, physically. I'm pretty sure you guys are superheroes, but even superheroes have their weak moments.
Of course.
So
Even Superman had a weak moment.
I mean, Batman more, but yeah.
Kryptonite. Okay.
There are ways that they could deal with this kind of situations. They could, if they are on the scene, then they could turn away and take their time, take a deep breath, give themselves time to think of the situation, try to remember all the procedures and the protocol to work with it, and try to think of this person as a case that they have to uh, treat that person and make sure they could save their lives. This is at the scene. But afterward, when they finish and they go back to their ambulance center, we always advise them to talk about it, especially severe accidents.
That's a
and
traumatic
traumatic,
experience,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly, because post-traumatic syndrome it's a big,
It's a big thing for all people in
yeah.
first
PTSD.
responders and all that. Yeah,
And
PTSD.
It
yes,
happens to EMTs.
when you
I
deal
can
with
only imagine
injuries
so, yeah.
like you've never seen it, only maybe in movies that you see, then yes, you could get
The
post-traumatic
horrors they see
syndrome.
on daily basis. It's not saving cats from trees every day, you know.
Let's talk about the situations that you face. What is the most memorable situation that you have been through that you still remember till this day?
A good one or a bad one?
Oh.
Both. I would like to hear both, actually.
Actually, yes, I have two, which is good one, a bad one. A good
Okay.
one where I saved someone's life, and they actually gave up on her, and they announced her dead actually.
Oh wow.
And then I noticed something, and I start working on the patient, and the head of the emergency. I used to work as also an emergency, an ER, an emergency department of
That must have been
hospitals.
lots of stories.
And the
there.
head of the emergency department, he went and he announced her death to her family. She's an older lady, but when he came back, he was surprised that
You brought her back to
I brought
life.
her back to
What
life.
did you do that he
How
didn't
did you do that?
He yelled at me actually.
I don't understand. The
Explain.
doctors didn't bring her back to life.
There
but
was
you did.
sometimes small things that doctors can miss.
Can't know, yeah.
Yes.
They miss.
Like
So-
what? What did
What
they
was
miss?
this?
She had a
Specific
tube. She
situation.
had a tube.
I
in
need
her-
details.
She had a tube in her lungs.
Uh-huh.
and
She has
the-
what?
She had a tube in her lungs, an
Okay.
ET tube, and the ET tube had fluid. So
Okay.
when they're bagging the tube, there was some fluid coming back from the lung. So when I noticed that, and this is sometimes normal, but we have to do some suction, so in order for the oxygen and the air to enter the lungs. So I asked my colleagues to do suction while I stand on the stools and continue CPR. I thought, well, let's continue CPR. Well, if it, if we succeed, then we succeed. If we didn't, then it's just more practice for me, for us altogether. So when he did the suctions and sucked all the fluid out and start bagging the patient, and I was doing compressions to the chest, we got a heartbeat.
Wow.
And then we got what we call a VF, I think, and then we brought the DC shock, and we gave a DC shock, and then there was normal sinus rhythm,
Wow.
and the chief came up, and
She's
he's like,
back to life.
"What did you do, Osama?"
What
he's
happened?
like, I just had to explain to these people.
No, he told me to go and tell them that she's
Oh,
alive.
Yeah, well,
You're like, I just
I
don't want to
think-
tell them.
well, I
No,
think
yeah.
you
Do the
earned
job.
that because you
I
saved
was-
her life. You might as well go
I
share
was so
the
happy
good
to go
news.
and
Yeah.
tell them, yeah,
Yeah.
the good news. So this is one of the cases that's really good, and I
And now
never
we're gonna make
forget.
us cry. What's the bad one?
The bad one was another case that we called. We got called to a house, and we entered the house. They were the whole family sitting around having dinner, and they were telling us that their father having chest discomfort.
Okay.
So I checked his vital signs. I checked everything.
Seemed fine.
Everything's fine, but he keeps complaining about heartburn and chest discomfort. I said, how about if you go with us to the hospital so we can,
Do
just
some
to
more
make
tests,
sure.
yeah.
So I brought my monitor and I put the leads and everything, and everything looks good. We start driving the ambulance, and when we just arrived on the hospital, the monitor gave me straight line,
The monitor, he just straight lined.
which means the
Out
heart
of-
stopped.
Ouch.
Perfect. I think he was 41 or 42 years old. He wasn't old.
So it's not even a heart stroke.
No, nothing.
What
It's not a
happened?
heart attack.
Just
nothing.
the heart gave up.
Stopped beating.
Stopped.
And he
Why?
died.
So I felt so bad, and I felt so responsible, and I started working
But
on
why
him.
would the heart give
I
up?
gave him medications. We went inside. I didn't even tell the resuscitation room to be prepared for rescuing a cardiac arrest situation. So they weren't prepared. I worked on this person for about 45 minutes, which is over the time that
But he's
That's
flat
it.
He's already
lined in
gone.
45 minutes.
that
flat.
was his time. So I lost him, and till this day I
I
cannot.
Was
mean,
there a
forget.
medical
technically,
reasoning behind this happening?
Sometimes just the heart
Just the heart
stops.
stops, fails, gives up.
I mean,
Yeah,
can the heart just stop for no reason?
it could be.
Apparently, it just did.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry to hear that
There's always
story.
reasons, but sometimes the reason's not found. But it's too late. That's it.
I'm really sorry to hear such a
Yeah.
story, but I mean, when it's your time, it's your time.
It's your time, exactly.
That's. I mean, if
We do our best, and the rest is in God's hands.
True.
So, what is the best thing you would teach to new EMTs? The first lesson that you would give them.
The first lesson I would say,
Aside from
confident.
the training.
Confident.
Confidence.
You have to have confidence into yourself. You have your knowledge. You know your things.
Mm.
You know the skills. You enter this field knowing that you will be facing
All kinds of scenarios.
exactly, and be patient.
Patience.
Especially with
I think it takes a toll on someone's mental stability,
yeah.
And it's just such a.
Especially when you deal with patients who are in pain.
Mm.
Okay.
Because like fractures, like femur fracture, thigh fractures, or pelvis fractures, so painful. When we try to move them or immobilize them and try to put them on a stretcher and take them to the hospital, it causes them so much pain. So you have to understand that.
So I want to talk about COVID. You guys, COVID. Sorry, it's my way of saying it. Okay.
Never heard it pronounced like that.
Me. Okay.
Okay.
So
The pandemic.
when the pandemic
Yeah.
happened, everything it was falling apart. You guys were the people to rely on in emergencies, and you put your life on stake here.
Yeah.
So what changed after the pandemic? What
What changed with the pandemic, and how is it different now than before the pandemic?
I guess.
Did it affect anything?
I mean,
know.
in your job, let's say.
Personal protection. They start taking it more seriously, more than before the pandemic.
Right.
And personally, what changed for you? I mean,
For me.
this is a job. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
let-
I guess a better question would be, what was it like during COVID as an EMT?
During COVID, I was actually the head of the public relations department, and I left that alone because, especially, I was working with the media as well. So I left the public relations department and the emergency medical services. It's not a time for that, I'm already covering all that through other programs in the media.
True.
So I went to the hospitals working with patients. I went to all the places where, how when they came back from out of the country and they start putting them in chalets and hotels. And,
I remember that. Yeah.
so we start going around and checking people who are arriving from out of the country. So it was 24/7 working actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because I don't work in the ambulance itself. I don't go
Right,
out in the
right,
ambulance,
right.
but I want to do something different. I want to.
You want to be out there and help
Yeah,
people.
I want to help people, and I have my degree in paramedics and as an emergency practitioner. I can do that, and especially that virus used to affect the respiratory system, and working with patients with that kind of disease or attack. This is our specialist.
Especially at that time,
Yeah.
like nobody knew what to do. You just
what
had to
would
go with
you
the flow.
say is the best lesson you learned from working through the
Pandemic.
What was the best lesson you learned as an EMT?
As an EMT, okay, I think it's the best lesson for myself. It's I don't know. There's so many lessons.
So
I'm
many
trying.
lessons.
I'm trying to find
One
the
off
best
the top
one.
of your head. Doesn't need to be the best. One of the best.
I guess I would say it doesn't matter what position you hold. It doesn't matter how high you are in the hierarchy. And when something hits like that, everything becomes even.
Okay.
So try to get off your high seat and go down and put your hand with the people. And we're
right.
working together. At the time,
Tough time.
Yeah. Especially people who are in leaders and in the ministry who work working together hand by
Right.
hand, and doctors and specialists and consultants, everybody working together. It doesn't matter what your rank or how high you are and how experienced.
So before we wrap up, I want you to look at the camera and give everyone, a message or words of reassurance, and anything you would like to say to the viewers, right on the Untold.
Okay, well, first of all, the viewers, our job as an EMTs or paramedics, it takes a lot from us to provide the medical treatment and the medical care for you, especially out of the hospital. When you are in a hospital setting, it's a lot easier, but when you are out of the hospital, it's actually really hard. So what we need from you, when you see somebody in this uniform or somebody who works in this kind of field, please try to give them their time to diagnose right, to provide the treatment, the correct treatment, and to transfer the patient in a right way. So many times we find people rush our EMTs and paramedics with their job, try to interfere in their job. This is not good for the sake of the health of the patient themselves. So what we need from you to help us, just try to give us our time and our space, and especially if you are on the road, open the road for the ambulance vehicle to get there as fast as they can. Thank you.
Thank you for those words, lovely words. Especially that last part. We don't have this, what do you call it, culture of getting out of the way
I mean,
for
we
the
do,
first responders
we
to
do,
get
but
there.
it's crowded most of the time, and
In the
we get
States,
stuck.
and you've seen this,
Yeah.
once an ambulance comes, everyone's on the side.
Yeah.
Everyone goes to the side. That is something we don't have as a culture here that
Yeah.
we need.
We need to be aware of that kind of culture, that you need to open the way for all the emergency vehicles.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being with us.
welcome.
That was incredible. You're such a delightful person to
Thank
have.
you. Thank you.
And on behalf of all the team and everyone, thank you for all the work that
Thank
you've
you
done
for the hard
as
work.
a first responder and for
You're
everyone
most
in your
welcome.
job.
This is my job, and I'm glad to do that. I've done all that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for the hard work.
We'll be back for the wrap-up. Well, what an episode that was. We got deep, we got emotional, we got some interesting stories, sad stories, but we're learning
Good
from
stories.
his knowledge, you know?
And I love how the patient just came back to life.
Mm,
And he wasn't even planning on it. He was just,
He's just doing his job and
doing his
thinking
job
that, yeah.
and-
And he noticed something that the doctors missed, which is something that might
incredible.
happen. Yeah.
Sometimes you would take their job for granted,
Yeah.
but they could save your life.
He was the right man at the right time.
Yeah, incredible. So I would like to just, tell him thank you.
Yes.
And obviously to everyone who's working in this field or any life-saving field,
Yeah.
we need you guys. Thank you for being for.
You're our
here for
heroes,
us.
you're our champions, and we
They
can't
are
do
heroes,
this
and we're
without
talking
you.
about real-life heroes.
Yeah.
You don't need a cape to be
You
a
don't
hero,
need to be, you definitely don't need a cape.
unless
Yeah.
if you're cosplaying.
Yeah. And superheroes with capes are lame anyway, so.
They're not.
They
If you're 15.
They are, but this is not the right show for that. Anyway,
Anyway.
thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time right here on The Untold.
Good night.